Yes. Without further ado, again, I appreciate you blessing us today, and the floor is yours.
Oh my gosh. Well, I always love it when I'm so honored that people are here. Thank you. Ben, you're a great leader to bring people together like this and add value to agents across the country. And I guess I could tell a little bit about what my specialties are and then open it up to what you guys would want to learn about, because I don't want to take time away from your busy schedules and have you go, oh, that was average. I want to change someone's life today if I can, So my specialties are, I've sold over 100 homes in the last decade by referral. And so I teach a class called 100 Homes by Referral. And it's been such an honor to help 1,700 families in the Boise area and generations of families, actually. Like we just closed our 8th transaction with one family between, their kids or their parents. And it's just such an honor when they trust us like that, and it's cheaper. My acquisition for business is like my lead gen budget's always low. My salary budget's always high because that's how I take care of people so well, is have staff help me. So I could talk about that. Or I also have amazing families, Lane, Spencer, and Emma. They're 41, 8, and 5. My 3 kids, just kidding, my husband and my 2 kids. And I decided when I became a mother that even though I have a very incredible passion for real estate, like it's a love affair around people and real estate, I decided that I want to put family first. And that's actually a challenge for me because I think it's easier to go to the office than be a mom. I think that's the hardest job in the world. So I can talk about family first and being a mom, or sales, like scripts, dialogue, lead gen to database, closing on listing appointments. I think that's another topic I could talk about. What do you think? What do you guys want to talk about?
I love the fact that I think even after meeting you briefly, and we found out that we're damn near related, which is crazy.
I know, through
right?
the David McKenzie. I'm so excited. That's like, I love that this world is so small.
It is so small. And I mean, there was an immediate connection when we met at, Gary's. I think you came in for teams and I was there for, top individuals. And there was an immediate connection. And then we found out, like I said, we're so connected through family. And I know that you're an athlete. And I'd love just for you to touch on being an athlete, what that brings to your business, and I think your mindset, because we are different, right? And I know that I'm different in what I do and how I approach things. Touch on that briefly, and then again, you've just had crazy production, and I'd love for us to know what we can do to maybe improve our referral business, and regardless of whether you're Richie in Arizona or Sonia outside of Dallas Fort Worth, or Steve here locally. So touch on those two things briefly.
Okay, cool. I love to talk about athletics, and then if everyone agrees they want to talk about the referral business, then write it in the chat, or if there's another topic you want to let me know, because I'm happy to help in any way. So I got the opportunity to play volleyball at Boise State, and I fell in love with volleyball. That was my other love affair besides my husband and real estate, and now my children. But volleyball was my parents were actually college swimmers, and I'm a very good swimmer, but I like to talk too much, so no swimming, all volleyball, because it's a social sport. And then I was like on top teams in the country, but not a starter, like that kind of athlete, right? Like number 6, 7, 8 on these teams that were ranked like 2nd, 3rd, 4th in the country. And I even got a silver medal in junior Olympic beach volleyball, which I'm very proud of. I still think that was my partner that got us there. Like I really have found great relationships and leveled up my athletic career by surrounding myself with people that are like just literally better than me, better athletes. And then I got a full scholarship to play volleyball at Boise State. And I think what has really helped me is that as an athlete, I've just been critiqued my whole life. And literally like, you made this team, but you're number 10, like that kind of stuff, right? And so it just made me tougher. I'm an emotional person. I'm not actually a very tough, like naturally tough person. And it just like time over task getting yelled at. I'm like, I can handle anything now. And so an expectation I have with my team is, I used to think it was just athletics that would be like the kind of person, the athlete is who I want to work with. I realized it can be mothers, it can be musicians, It can be people that are in performing arts. When we find a passion and we decide we want to get better at it, we learn from that, right? And then we can translate that into real estate. And so I think it's that quality of grit and commitment to being the best. That's who I want to be, and that's who I look for when I'm joining forces with someone on my team. Because if you're a big baby and you cry because I say something mean to you on accident, because nothing I say is on purpose, it's like just direct, then I just can't handle that kind of person. I need tough people in my world.
Well, you mentioned your team. What does your team look like there?
Yeah, so it used to be just me, right? Like I sold 50 homes by myself, and that was hard. And so I started hiring people. So I did it like I grew it from lead generation to the database, and calling for 4 hours every morning, going from about 5 sales to 50 sales a year. And then I needed people to help. Systems and people helped grow it to over 100 sales. We did 131 last year, 89% referral repeat. And so first I hired an executive assistant. I just followed the model, the MREA model. And then I was supposed to hire another assistant, but I skipped that model. I just went straight to a buyer's agent. And looking back, I should have hired, my third hire should have been a showing assistant, right? Because I kind of spoon fed the buyer's agent. She did 30 sales her first year with me because I just have so much referrals that I would just give her like, oh, here's my friend, here's my, my friend's friend, or whatever happened, and blew up her life and her business, which was fun. And I should have, for profitability sake, done just a showing assistant to start, and 2 admin staff would have been even more profitable. And then I would have been in control of those relationships a little bit more. But then after that, it grew even more. Like you hire talent, the business grows. So then we now fast forward, have a director of operations, a listing and transaction manager is one person. And then there's 2 virtual assistants. So I really kind of overpay that success team so that our clients can still have an amazing experience. I know I can give an amazing experience at like 30 to 50 units, but after that, even being a good person and wanting to do well, I'm spread too thin. So I really need my admin staff to have great systems, models, processes, and high standards to support our clients. And then on the sales side, so I am still the listing agent for the team. I did 70 listings myself last year. And then my buyer team took care of the rest to get to 131. And Tracy and Alana sell the bulk of our buyer business. They're very experienced. I mean, Tracy's she sells just as much real estate as I do. She's my work wife. We've been together for 8 years. My second longest relationship after my husband is Tracy McDonald. So she's the #1 buyer's agent in this whole city. She's awesome. I don't even know she's working with my parents right now. I can't even handle a buyer. They're just too, I just am not made to be a buyer's agent. So I have Tracy. That's all.
You're so fortunate to have her.
I know.
That's right. Yeah, she's working with your parents. That's something else, is all I'm saying.
I started working with them because my husband's like, you should just work with your parents. And then I was getting annoyed with my parents. And I'm like, that's not fair to them for me to be annoyed. Right. So I was like, Tracy, help my parents. And she's like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, because I can't, you're going to do way better. And she did. Like, she found him a house and she's being all patient with them. And it's amazing. At home, I have some support and leverage. I actually have a house manager at home because my husband works a little bit less than me. And so he has the time, but he's just not made to be my wife, So I hired a wife, and she makes my bed, feeds us. She's, does all the laundry. She works about 10 hours a week. And so we pay her $1,000 a month to clean her house. And I come home to a perfect house. I feel like I live in an Airbnb, and that really helps me feel at peace instead of feel stressed when I get home.
Wow, you have truly bought into the leverage piece of business, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's funny when we finally turn a corner, because I'd been doing this for 31 years before I finally hired my right hand, who is Christina, who you see on the screen.
Yay!
And right, I think I have a love affair with Christina's. I'm just saying.
Yay! Yeah, in the most appropriate way possible. That's what James
absolutely
Shaw would say. He's like, I love you in an appropriate way.
it's made a difference to my business. And so I would suggest, because it's funny how similar we are, because I got to, I was doing 48 to 51 units completely by myself.
That's hard.
And it's very hard. And so now I'm able to do those numbers, and life looks a whole lot different with Christina by my side, who I really appreciate. So I know Scott asked a question about, Scott, I think you said, like, how many calls do you make, and really kind of what your script is briefly. So that might help.
Okay. So let's start when I was selling 5 houses a year. I made lots of calls, right? Because I had no business. I had nothing to do but make phone calls. And that was in the Great Recession. So I called for 4 hours a day. I don't remember my numbers, but like, I think, I got to 20. I had a minimum standard of 20 contacts a day because I was doing the bold thing. And, that was what I did. And that's how I built the business pretty quickly to the 50 and then 75, then the 100 homes, is doing that, being very committed to 5 days a week, 4 hours a day, 20 contacts at least. And if I didn't have appointments in the afternoon, then what else should I do? Then make phone calls. So I made phone calls in the afternoon too. Now I can't get through my database anymore. There's like 3,000 people, 1,700 past clients and 3,000 people, phone numbers. So I actually I'm hiring a business development specialist to call my database, not an inside outside sales, because that feels not right for us. Like, we're warm and fuzzy and we take care of people. We don't close, but we don't close hard. We close with relationships in mind. So I've reduced my list to 250 MVPs. Those are people that have gone out of their way to refer business to us, that are like, they should be on our payroll. I got pulled over by a police officer recently, and he recognized me because one of his, like, the head of dispatch, she's a client, and she talks about me all the time. He's like, "Are you a realtor?" Like, I got pulled over and he said, "Are you a realtor?" I said, "Yes." He's like, is Lindsay Nowotny your client?" And I said, "Yes." And so I just have clients like that we've done such a great job for them, that they just like tackle people and make them work with us. Like, there's no choice. They're connecting us. So a couple of things that I've done, like especially back in the day, to teach people how to refer, because some people are natural connectors. I'm a natural connector. Ben, I know you're a natural connector. Probably everyone here is. Some people don't know how to connect, and they don't know how to refer. So we have to teach them. Some people will never refer. That's okay. That doesn't mean they don't like you. They're just not good at it. So for those that aren't very good at it, that maybe are willing to do it, when I make my calls, I often say, like, "Hey, if you were to buy or sell a house, I'm just curious who you'd work with." Like, if I don't know that they'd work with me, I'd say that. Like, "I'm just curious who you'd work with." And then they say someone else's name. And I say, "That's amazing. That person, I've heard great things, or I know that person personally. You're in great hands. Hey, I was just curious if I could be your number 2 realtor. Like, if that person's not available, or you feel like they're not a good fit for your referral, could I be your number 2? That really decreases the guard. Like, how annoying is that people think that we're just there to get business from them. Like, I don't want anyone to feel that way if I'm at a party, that I'm like, "Ooh, I want to be a realtor," So I want to be their resource. And then I know eventually I'm going to be their realtor because I'm the best. So, but I'm not going to be annoying about it. So I asked to be the number 2, and I've often moved to number 1. Another thing that when I say that, and they say, "Well, it's you," I refer you all the time. They say that to me. Does anyone hear that sometimes? Like, "Oh, I refer you all the time." I go, "Oh my goodness. I've never heard from your referrals before." And I kind of pause, and I just like let that soak in. And I go, "No big deal. Like, it's not their job to call me. I'm just so grateful that you refer me. Thank you so much. That means the world to me. That's how our business is able to survive, is from your referrals. Do you mind next time, when you find someone that needs to buy or sell a house, do you mind just doing a group text and connect us so I can make sure I reach out to them?" So I literally, you guys, I've never paid for a lead. I don't do the Zillow leads or anything like that. Like, I literally get, "Hey, here's my friend. She wants to sell. Here's her address. She's moving here." Like, it's like a full on lead, because I've asked people one at a time, like, here's how you refer me. I also show them how to refer. So when I go on a listing appointment afterwards, I'll do a group. If they need a carpet cleaner, I'll do a group connect. So I'll say, "Hey, favorite carpet cleaner, here's my awesome client. They need to sell their house. They need their carpets cleaned. Here's their address." So I just bring them together. So I make sure my clients use my carpet cleaner, 1, because they're the best, 2, because they charge fair prices, And 3, I'm showing both of them how to refer. I'm modeling it, and so that they do it next time for me. Does that help? Oh, I think we are frozen. Oh no. Maybe just Ben?
Well,
Is it just Ben?
yeah, I think maybe it's just Ben. Let's see. There was another question in the chat just asking a little bit more about the housewife you have, and how did you interview? How often does she come over? Because Sally has a blended family of 6 kids, and she just can't keep up.
Oh my gosh, Sally, having a house manager is cheaper than an executive assistant. No offense to you, Christina, but like they're easier to fire. They can come and go. They're like the best, cheapest leverage ever. So yeah, housewife. I have a job description. I can, maybe I can send it to myself because I have it on my phone, and then I'll copy and put it in the chat. But she comes 4 days a week for 2 to 3 hours a time. And she does everything a mom would do, or an awesome dad. And she does she does all the laundry, all the cooking, all the cleaning, the dishes. She makes the beds. She puts the kids' toys away. She donates toys. She's getting us signed up for camps this summer, because I always forget to get signed up for camps. She did all my company gifts, because I didn't want my operations director to do like my team member gifts. So she'll do like one-off projects like that. She'll probably start helping me plan parties at my house. I haven't done that yet with her, but she's open to helping with parties. And then my house cleaner quit in the middle of all this. And so she started cleaning. She used to be a house cleaner, so I got really lucky. She started cleaning the house, but she's done lots of organizational projects. And does that answer your question? Oh, and I pay her $22 an hour. And I just posted a picture of our family on Facebook, and I said, I need help. I need a wife, or something like that. And I got all these leads.
I feel like I'm paying more for just my housekeeper, and she doesn't do the laundry, and she's great, don't get me wrong, but there is that, pick up the groceries for me, type errands that I would love to incorporate in this. So that's great. Thank you.
I felt like I needed something more than a house cleaner. She was coming every week, but then I felt guilty about it, like mom guilt. And then I was with Ruthie Taylor, who's an amazing Instagram follow. If she's like my realtor hero. She's out of Tacoma, Washington. She owns an indie brokerage. She's not Keller Williams. And Ruthie said that she has someone come make her bed every day. And it blew my mind. And then but it gave me permission. I think when you get with other moms, it really helps with like, we're doing a lot of amazing things. We fought for the right to be the president of the United States, the president of any company. We fought hard too long, right? And now we still have our God-given gift to be mothers. So now women are the most spread thin in the whole world, I think, moms, because we're doing it all. And we haven't transitioned to being okay with having the men are stepping up, right? Like they're doing amazing at home, but there's a transition part of that. And then also that like guilt. Do you feel that like guilt? Like, do I really have to have someone come freaking make my bed? Yes, we do, because it helps. For me, I don't have all the time in the world with my kids, but I want quality time with my kids. And if I come home to a mess, I'm going to get anxiety. I'm going to feel overwhelmed. My daughter has been diagnosed with anxiety, and I feel like it's probably because who I've been modeling something that's not healthy in my home. And ever since Chris came into my life, I've literally been a better mother, and I'm actually more productive in the office too. It's been really one of the best hires I've ever made. Sorry, I got emotional.
Yeah, I can see you did get emotional over that, and I think that there's nothing wrong with it. I think we've all learned something about leverage and time and how important it is, and really quality time with family and or friends. And Alyssa, I completely agree, man. It's beautiful, and I appreciate you sharing that. So, and again, to be mindful of your time, typically we're on for about 20, 25 minutes. Is there anything else that you'd love to leave us with, or was there another question that maybe you could address quickly?
Well, I did get my job description, which is just a list. It's nothing fancy, but
Okay.
I posted it in the
I see.
chat. And yeah, I mean, I think that, like, as far as lead gen to our database, when I still feel, after doing this for 18 years, I still sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to bother people. Does anyone feel that way? Like, oh, I'm going to call my people. I don't want to bother them. The way that I get into the right mindset to lead gen to my people is to remind myself that I'm here to help. I'm not here to sell. I'm here to serve and help. And if they get in the hands of someone that's desperate or going to sell them on something, they could have something go bad for them. So I'm going to call them to check in on their real estate plans, because I know I'm going to do good work for them. And that just really helps me switch my mindset to that, like, drunk monkey talk and ickiness that doesn't serve anybody.
I love the fact that you are so genuine. I think that's why we connected. Now, will I see you next month at all?
Yeah.
I will.
And for any new friends here, I'm 6'1", so you can't miss me at family reunion. I'd love, come say hi. I'd love to meet you. Just like a foot above the rest, it feels like sometimes. And then I am teaching a breakout. I'm a moderator for an amazing breakout session. Oh, yay, Sonia's 5'10". Okay, yeah, we need to look eye to eye. Okay, I'm so excited. And I don't know when it is, but I think it's like Monday morning at one of the breakout sessions, and the panel is called How to Build a Big Business and Be Generous, or something like that. Like, it's about giving back to your community, to the world. And it's an amazing panel of people that are doing great things, making big impact on their communities in the world, and have grown their businesses in a big way because of it, on accident in a way. So I'd love to see you guys at that panel. I'm sorry, I don't know when it is or what it's called, but you'll notice it. And I think they put like moderator's name, so just look for Christina Ward. And then if anyone wants to follow me on Instagram, I am Christina Ward Boise. I'd love to connect.
And I'm sure we've either already done it, or we just, because Christina is so on top of things, I'm sure we're following right now. Also, I think I'm a panelist. I think it's on the 20th. And I'm not exactly sure what the topic is, but I'll make sure that I want to see you there if there's not a conflict. So anyway, and again, Sonia, Scott, Steve, any of you guys that are there, clearly we'd like to connect. Our friend Yvette Saint, we'd love to see you, my brother. So if you're there, we'll definitely connect. So Christina, again, I've been so blessed with you giving us a few minutes of your time.
Thank you.
I know that the folks that participated, I know they got something from it, as I did. And I so appreciate you. Look forward to seeing you again next month. And guys, we appreciate you joining in each and every week. Like I say, each and every week, you know what? This young lady, she brought the meat this week. If you didn't get something from it, then you know what? That's the you problem. That's the you problem.
That's why we're meant to be together.
Yeah. Tell Dave I said hi. And I'll see you guys soon, and I'll see you next month, and I'll see you guys next week.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, everyone. Nice to meet you all. Have a good day.
Take care.